Greetings once again, Mr. Deegan here with another VidNotes video. We are continuing our study of Unit 5, the rise of nationalism and national pride, and we're going to focus on Lesson 4 today, which is the unification, the bringing together of two European countries, Italy and Germany. These were two of the last European countries to become singular nation states. Here you see Germany in Central Europe, bordered by France to the west, Poland to the east, Austria to the south. Here you also see Italy in Southern Europe, surrounded on three sides by the Mediterranean Sea, and having Austria and Switzerland border it on the north. How do these two countries unify? That's what we'll study today. Our guiding question to bring it all together is this: should war be used to unify? Is bloodshed necessary to get countries to come together? Let's explore. In the 1860s and 1870s, Italy and Germany became nation states long after the rest of Europe. And here are 5 traits of a nation state I'd like to go over now: nationality, territory, language, history, and culture. So what makes a country or a territory a nation state? These 5 things. Let's define each one. So what bonds nation states? Nationality, which is the belief in common ethnic ancestry. Territory, the land that belongs to a particular ethnic group. For example, Israel is a Jewish state. The vast majority of people in Israel are Jewish. It was created to become a religious state for Jews. Another thing that binds nation states together is language, having a different dialect, but having one shared national language. 2 other items that bond nation states together: history, a common past with common experiences. And lastly, culture, a shared way of life, whether that be food or dress or religion. These 5 items bind a nation state together. Next, let's explore Italy specifically. How did Italy unify and create its own nation state? Here's a map of Italy before it unifies, and all of the different colors show different city-states that were their own governments and had their own identity. And how did they all come together and agree to be one? That's the story we're about to hear. 1830, it starts there with this man, Giuseppe Mazzini. He starts a nationalist group. Nationalists want to unite. And this group was called Young Italy. And the goal of Young Italy was to unite Italy's separate city-states as one free, independent, and republican nation. A republican nation elects its leaders. And Mazzini was fond of the Roman Empire. He thought back to that golden age in Italy. And he said, why can't we recreate the Roman Republic for the 1800s? Let's start with northern Italy. How does it unify? Well, these 2 men help it do so. Victor Emmanuel II, he is the monarch of Sardinia. Where is Sardinia? It's circled in red here. It is an island off the western coast of Italy in the Mediterranean. And Emmanuel II's right-hand man is Count Camillo Cavour. He is Sardinia's prime minister and chief politician. And here is Cavour. These 2 men strike a deal with France to fight Austria together. Where is Austria? It's on the northeast side of Italy. And these 2 men provoke a war with Austria in 1859 to win back the northern city-states of Italy. That was northern Italy. How did southern Italy unify? And here is southern Italy, the kingdom of the two Sicilies. Well, there's a military leader named Giuseppe Garibaldi. Here he is, looking very military-like in this painting. He accepts military aid from Cavour of Sardinia. Now, let's talk about who Garibaldi is. He is an ally of Mazzini, the Young Italy group leader. And like Mazzini, Garibaldi wants a republic in Italy. He wants people to elect leaders. Cavour aids him and gives him money to help unify these southern states. And how does he do it? Using war. Garibaldi leads the Red Shirt Army, you see him wearing a red shirt, through the southern Italian states, and he defeats many pro-monarchy forces that don't want unification. And you see him carrying the Italian flag that we know today, the green, white, and red flag of Italy. Garibaldi gives the southern states that he unites to Victor Emmanuel II of Sardinia. He compromises. He wants a republic, but he also wants unification. So they crown in 1861 Victor Emmanuel II the king of Italy. Even though Garibaldi prefers a republic, he's willing to compromise. And there he is, Emmanuel II with a crown. How did Italy unify? It had to find a way to get the Papal States to join it. The Papal States, shown here in red in central Italy, included the city of Rome, and the Papal States were the last to join a united Italy in 1870. Why were they the last? Because the Pope had sovereignty, absolute power over these Papal States. And Pope Pius X, who was the leader of the Catholic Church at the time, was very reluctant to let go of that absolute power. Finally, in 1870, he does, and Italy unifies. Now let's talk about Germany. Let's head north and talk about how this country becomes a nation state. And here you see all the different colors show the different German states before unification. Its largest state is Prussia to the east. Prussia borders the Russian Empire. You also see Bavaria to the south, a large city-state as well. And this map shows after the Congress of Vienna, but before German unification. How do all of these colored states come together? Let's find out. This man is largely responsible for this unification, Otto von Bismarck. He is the chancellor, chancellor means president in German, of Prussia, this big state in purple that borders Russia to the east. And Bismarck leads the German state in the German Confederation. You see his military helmet, which shows you what he stands for. Bismarck was nicknamed the Blood and Iron Chancellor. He strengthened the German army, and he believed in Realpolitik. Realpolitik was a military strategy that supports the idea of doing what is necessary to achieve your military goals, even if it is morally questionable. Power by all means, says Bismarck. And how does Realpolitik play out today in politics? This is an example of waterboarding. Waterboarding is a technique that some interrogators used to try to get information out of criminals. Governments have used this especially against terrorist suspects. And it creates a sensation in the suspect where he or she thinks that he or she is drowning, and they're more likely to give away secrets or evidence. Is this morally correct? Bismarck would say, it doesn't matter. If we get information from this terrorist, we're willing to use it, morals notwithstanding. So that is an example of realpolitik, a military strategy that Bismarck championed. This is a speech or an excerpt from a September 1862 speech that gave Otto von Bismarck his nickname and shows his military leadership. He said, "Not by speeches and decisions of majorities will the greatest problems of the time be decided." That was the mistake of 1848 and 49, Congress of Vienna. "But by iron and blood, by warfare." That's his mindset going into unification. Talk is cheap. A Republican form of government is cheap. We need to unite through war. And Germany did. Germany's victory in the Franco Prussian War was a major reason why it successfully united. Let's talk about the Franco Prussian War. Franco meaning France, and France opposed the unification of southern Germany states. In this red circle, you see the southern German states that include Bavaria, and France fears that these states, once united, would become too powerful, and France borders these states to the west. So, what does Otto von Bismarck do? He is sneaky. He alters a telegram that was sent by the King of Prussia to France using realpolitik, and the telegram angers France so much that they declare war, and the southern German states and Prussia join forces against France once it attacks. Germany wins in 1871, they defeat the French, and nationalism increases as a result. The Prussian state and the southern German states realize they can band together. This is what starts unification. So the German states unite as one country in 1871 under this man, Kaiser Wilhelm I. He was previously the monarch of the Germans' largest state, Prussia, and now he is the head, the monarch of them all, thanks to Bismarck and his altered telegram. And now we are almost done with lesson 4. We have but our summary questions remaining. Once you're done with those, a preview of next lesson. Next lesson, we're going to be talking about all of these countries in green. What do they all have in common? They all are in Latin America, and they all became independent from their European owners in the 1800s. How did they become free? How did Haiti and Mexico and Brazil become free? We're going to be talking about that next lesson. Until that time, this is Mr. Deegan signing off.